What's up, YouTube? I'm going to give you a good view of this garage door while I talk, or you can look at me, whichever, but it's easier to hold the phone looking at the garage, so we're just going to spin it right back around. This is going to be a new system update video. First of all, I got rid of the Taurus. I decided it would be more mature and responsible to save my money and in a year or two buy a car that I actually really want. I also got a car. It's my mom's old Mazda, and although it's not much to look at, I didn't have to pay for it. There it is. Ain't she a beaut? Got some messed up paint on the back. Nice good dent in the door right here. But we got the new system installed, and we're going to take a look at it. It's a little bit more of a sound quality system. Got two amplifiers in there. I wasn't able to use my Audio Q2200 because it would just completely overwhelm the power system, and I'm not gonna spend time upgrading the alternator and all that stuff in this car. I just don't want to spend the money on it. So, moving around, the first thing we're going to look at is under the hood, which is pretty simple. Pop the hood up. Okay. And so all I did here was just put in the Kinetic 1400R. Got one run of 1/0 back to the distribution block, and then just didn't even replace the ground, just used the factory ground with a little lug and screwed it on there. So nothing too fancy there. Next, we're going to go around and look at the amplifier setup. So here they are. Of these two amplifiers, let's see if I can get a good angle. This one is actually probably my best car audio product. It's a Cadence ZRS 200 2, and it'll do, I think, 250 watts channel continuous into 4 ohms, and it's 2 ohms stable, I think, at 400 watts. So if you want to get a lot of power to a front stage, this is how you do it. Here, this is a relatively inexpensive 4-channel, but it is stable down to 2 ohms with 100 watts 4 ways at 2 ohms. So how I got this worked out, I got this amplifier pushing the front stage, and this one, the back 2 channels, are bridged to this Dayton reference 15 we got right here. And this is a like 1.75 cubic foot sealed box. Got a little plate, just made the wood and baffle to kind of match there. It's not sealed off or anything, but it looks like aesthetically decent enough. The crossovers are a little tacky, I'm not even gonna lie, but they do the job really well, and they can handle the power that this thing is putting out, which is pretty useful. Bridged into 4 ohms, this is pushing about 200 watts to the sub, so nothing real impressive, but it handles the lows pretty nicely. The last thing I need to do is put the plate back on the back. I got some aftermarket 6x9 since they were blown. These are just like $35 Walmart speakers, and I just use them if I don't want to have the amplifiers on, so it's nothing real fancy. I don't have them playing with the music, it would just kind of ruin everything. So now on to the front stage. So I'm a kind of a firm believer that getting decent mid-bass in a door is extremely difficult, especially if you don't want to use deadener. To get like decent mid-bass in a door, you have to use deadener, and that's why in this door you just see a stock panel, and there's actually no speaker. Well, there is one in there, but it's not running, it's disconnected. Doing a 3-way setup, as you can see from the crossover, and the tweet and the 4 up here in the A-pillars, I still need to make some kind of pods for these, obviously, but the towel around it keeps the back wave frequencies from sounding bad, so the sound quality is about the same if you had pods or not. Same setup. Got the Vifa mid, which is on Parts Express, and fantastic speaker. They're about 90 bucks a piece. And then the Morel Tweet from Parts Express, which is about 40. That tweet sounds good. It's a little too sensitive or like crisp for my taste, so I have to EQ it down a bit, but it's a good speaker. This here, though, this is my Google Next book that I've connected, and I can watch TV shows while I'm driving. Not safe at all, but I can do it. So, you might be wondering, you know, where's the mid-bass and what are these crossed over at? These play down to about, you know, 400 hertz and sound good doing it. But where are the mid-bass drivers, and what kind of mid-bass drivers is he using? Well, like I said, getting good mid-bass out of a door is hard if you don't deaden, but also with a 6.5-inch speaker, unless you're using something that is really, really beefy, the cone area it's hard to get a lot of punch out of those speakers. I got a good deal. This door doesn't open too easily, so we're going back around on what you're about to see down here. I have them under the seats. These are there we go, Kicker Comp 8s. So, you know, your Kicker isn't necessarily like associated too well with sound quality, but these actually do the job really, really well. And in these sealed boxes, which are, I'm trying to remember, I think like 0.4 cubes, I think. Maybe 0.3. I totally forget. But the long and short of it is they sound really good, and they're very quickly removable. This is the one ghetto thing about my system that I love. To hell with speaker wire. I have an extension cord that I cut, and then I plug it into itself. So if you want to unhook this speaker, you just unplug it. And for those of you who hate on this wire, you know, this cord cost $1.79, and it's easier to remove, and it works just fine. If you want to argue with me that you're going to get some kind of extra fidelity out of some oxygen-free cable that's 10 times as expensive, go right ahead. But in the small little bandwidth that these are playing, which is basically from about 90 hertz up to, say, 300, I don't think my ear is good enough to detect it, at least also when there's so many other factors that could diminish sound quality. You know, this isn't a super high-end install. So, anyway, I think it's pretty cool, though. It actually sounds really good, and of course, everyone wants to hear it, even though it's outside and it's on a phone, and you'll never appreciate how good it sounds because it's a phone, but still, everyone wants to hear it, so let's do it. I wire my stuff up to where I can play music without having the key in, which is when you're installing the deck, you basically just splice together the yellow and the red wire, and my deck just turns off if you unclick it, so it's not going to stay on and drain the battery. I also have the amplifiers lined up to the turn-on lead on the, got a switch right here, so I can have the deck on in the rear speakers without the amplifiers coming on. Hopefully you'll be able to see the light on the amp. I'm going to flip the switch. There we go, and you can turn it off and you can hear the switch in the background. So let's play some music, and at least we can hope the CD won't skip. Might skip, might skip. If anyone gets that reference. Everybody remembers this shit, right? But that's not what I want to play. I've been into this song right here for a while. CD can be a little skippy, we'll find out. Total lack of excursion. This is not woofer porn. Sorry I got your hopes up. But of all the systems I've had, and there's been quite a few, this is actually, for just pure sound quality, probably one of the best. It's not going to win any awards, but it is good enough for now and for the next year and a half, and knowing me, I'll probably do something at some point, but this is going to keep me content. The only thing really, the work left to do here is obviously the pods.